Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to League Racing TV here for round number 3 of the Esports Masters League here in Season 8 is Console 1. We're here for the Chinese Grand Prix. Yes, we are at the Shanghai International Circuit. My name is Michael Edwards, going to be taking you through the action as always here on a Wednesday evening. Before we get into anything though, guys, massive shout out to our sponsors at Ronin Printworks. They do some fantastic work, so make sure you go and check them out and see what they got in stock and that. They do some good stuff. They really do. And ladies and gentlemen, we come here tonight after what was a pretty eventful opening 2 rounds in terms of the Esports Masters League. And of course, last time out, we did see CPI take a victory out on track, which has gone ahead and given them the lead in the championship by 2 points. Nevertheless, Racing, of course, had a qualifying ban for both of their drivers last time out, and they were able to come back through the field to secure a fantastic P4 and 5 finish, if I remember correctly. And OVR also had a fantastic race, same with Visio Racing as well. It's going to be very interesting to see what is going to happen here tonight. But of course, let's have a little look at the drivers that will be racing here tonight. Of course, it is going to be for FGE is going to be Brent and hang on now, Polis. Yeah, Paulus. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Paul. I'm gonna go Paul. And then for LR in the Mercedes, we have Maxi and Leo Lopez in for LR in the Mercedes. For CPI in the McLarens, we have Kay Gakowski and CPI Finley. A very strong lineup right there from the CPI team. GT10 come through with Quartz and Acid. So GT10 not playing around, coming through with 2 very good drivers as well. And then EVE coming through with Lucas and Belby in the Aston Martins. OVR coming through with Thomas and Nock, looking to try and improve on what they did last time out. Instead of getting a P2 finish, could they be getting a P1 finish here tonight? Time will tell. VMV coming through with Indian and Impact. Of course, they'll be driving in the Williams. And then, of course, FRT with Bella Ofo. Let me know if I said that correctly. Bella Ofo, they for FRT, along with FRT Harvey there as well. They're in the Visa Car Shop Racing Bulls. And then, of course, in the Saubers for Neverlast Racing, we have Sepala and Gravroach, a very good lineup there for Neverlast Racing. And, of course, IRT in the Hasses coming through with Brian and Nick. Looking at the lineups, of course, coming in tonight, it's going to be very interesting to see who's going to come out on top. Of course, we have seen many of these guys over previous seasons do fantastic things. Of course, Kigatgowski, a very strong driver. Sapala, also a very strong driver. Gravroach, a strong driver as well. Bell has had some good results as well in Esports Masters League in seasons gone by. And we're going to be looking to see who's going to be coming out on top. A quick reminder of the standings once again, guys. CPI lead the way, 2 points ahead of Neverlast Racing. It is 50 points for CPI, 48 points for Neverlast Racing. 2 points separating the 2 top teams right now. OVR, Optimum Velocity, they're on 39 points in 3rd place. Visio Racing, EVE, they're in 4th place on 36, and a 10-point gap back to FRT. They're in 5th place, they're on 26 points. 23 points for GT10, so they're going to be looking to try and climb up the order a little bit here tonight. IRT in 7th place on 22 points. VMV Esports, they're in 8th on 19 points. FGE currently on 7 points, and then of course we have LR that are right now yet to get a point on the table, which is not good for them early on in the season. But what we can do is have a little look at the point system here tonight. Of course, it is 22 points for a race win, 18 points for second place, 15 points for third, 12 points for fourth, and then it goes down in increments of 1 all the way down to P15, which will get you 1 solitary point. But there is a point for pole position as well as the fastest lap. And I can't lie, after the teamwork that we saw from CPI last time out, I mean, they did exactly what they needed to do to get to go ahead and get what's called the race win last time out. Of course, was very, very interesting last time out, and of course it was Francesco Lago who did get the victory out on track. His teammate definitely helping him out massively in that respect, as Andy's for EVE and OVR Nico completing the podium last time out. And of course with Gakowski and Gravroach both here tonight. Remember, they did both feature in the first round of the championship in Bahrain. It was Gravroach who came out on top with a last lap overtake on Gakowski to take the win. And definitely Gakowski's going to be looking for revenge here tonight to try and get the win back over on Gravroach, as these two teams are going to be going absolutely tooth and nail to try and win the championship, that is for sure. As the drivers are beginning to ready up now in the lobby, we should be heading out to the track in just a moment's time, and we're going to be seeing what these guys are going to be doing around the Shanghai International Circuit, the Chinese Grand Prix. And honestly, in terms of key places to overtake, down the back straight in towards the hairpin at turn 14 is going to be where I think we're going to see most of the overtaking action. We could see a few overtakes down in towards turn number 11 and of course turn number 6, as well as some different lines through turns 1 and 2 to maybe set yourself up for an overtake in turn 3. But we are loading into the session right now, so in just a moment's time we will switch you over to the action out on track as we are about to get underway for qualifying here in the Esports Masters League. Quick reminder again, guys, my name is Michael Edwards, going to be taking you through the action here tonight, and we are going to be looking to see if GT10 can get themselves up the order a little bit. We're going to see if OVR and EVE are going to be able to close the gap on the two teams at the top. And of course we're going to see who's going to come out on top in that battle between CPI and Neverlast Racing here tonight. But let's go ahead to the action out there on track, as the drivers are still in the garage at the moment. But let us see who is going to come out on top here in qualifying and get that first point on the board. As I believe the first driver out on track, it is going to be a Williams out on track first, or potentially it is a Visa Cash App, so it is a FRT driver, and it is Bella Orfrox. I know I'm butchering this name every single time I say it, but you know, we're gonna roll with it, guys. It wouldn't be a commentary with Michael Edwards if I wasn't butchering someone's name, let's be honest. But majority of the cars flooding out of the pits. Only two to remain in the pits is of course Gakowski and Gravroach, who in round number 1 had a very spicy battle towards the end of the race, but the last lap overtake from Gravroach on Gakowski to take the victory for Neverlast Racing. And guys, what we're going to do, we're going to go on board with Bella here as about to get his lap underway. So we're going to stay on board with the FRT man as he comes through the final corner, tries to get a good run to get his lap underway. DRS wide open as we run down in towards turn number 1. Of course, throwing the car in, getting close to the apex and drifting out wide, then cutting back in to hit the apex for turn number 2. And that'll set you up lovely for turn number 3. A bit squirrely on the exit of turn 3, but through turn 4 he's got it all sorted once again. As we head to turn number 6 into the hairpin, job done for Bella, but a big lock up there, so definitely would have cost a bit of time as we go through turns number 7, flat out there for Bella in 5th gear, dropping down into 4th as we go through turn number 8, then quickly shifting gears down through turn 9 to get a good run out of turn number 10. Middle sector split is a 50.7 from the FRT man as we go through turns number 11, now into the snail corner of 12 and 13 as we unleash ourselves onto the back straight, where I think we're going to be seeing a lot of overtaking and a few potential dives here and there. Very easy to send one down the inside into the hairpin at turn number 14, but also very easy to absolutely miss your braking zone and just go careering off. But Bella able to do well there as he comes through the final corner. DRS wide open to the line. It's going to be a 1:30 flat there for FRT to get the times underway. As we see Thomas, Brian and Nick setting times. Impact there, setting times. Sapala unfortunately has invalidated on his lap. Harvey there with a 29.9, so a good lap there for Harvey. We see Finley up there. It's Bell actually there with a 29.9, displacing Harvey. Quartz there jumps in between the pair of them, and there's only 3 thousandths of a second between Bell and Quartz, so both EVE and GT10 looking good as it currently stands. As we got Gravroach, who I believe is on a fast lap right now, heading down in towards the hairpin at turn number 14. Big lock up on the front right, but gets the car slowed down and rotated through the corner. Now through turn 16, the final corner on the circuit, to the line will come Gravroach. It's going to be a 29.9, so already 4 drivers in the 29.9s and 5 drivers within a tenth of each other, so it is very close already in qualifying as Gatkowski's just getting his lap underway. Sapana is going to be coming back into the pit lane. Leo Lopez in the pits as well, but we're going to stay on board with Kay Gatkowski here for CPI in that papaya orange McLaren car, as he is going to be trying to put himself ahead of Bell, and we're going to see if he's going to be able to do it. It's a 23.5 in the first sector. It's not purple, so there's definitely been a faster sector one so far in the session, but Gatkowski, he's always been a very strong qualifier as the CPI man, especially when it comes to competing in the Esports Masters League. He's always been a good qualifier, and sometimes the race can get away from him at the end, but he's definitely a driver that can, on his day, mix it up with the absolute best of him, as he's gone purple in the middle sector, coming through turn 13 now onto the back straight, where it's nothing to do but put your foot to the floor, get ready for that DRS to be activated, and then to pick your braking point for the hairpin at turn number 14. breaking down third gear there for Gakowski. Yes, decent traction on the exit. A little bit of wheel spin though, so I definitely would have compromised him just a little bit. But for the final corner now comes Gakowski to the line. He's going to come. And it is a 29.8. So there we go. Gakowski putting down the benchmark time after everyone has completed their first runs here in qualifying. Still waiting for times from Leo Lopez, so LR, and Sipala for Neverlast Racing. But right now, CPI's K Gakowski tops the timing sheet with EVV's Bell right there in second place. Quads there for GT10 in third. FRT Harvey in fourth. Gravroach there in fifth, with EVE's Lucas in 6th, CPI Finley in 7th, and then of course we got FRT Bella Offro. I'm going to say it so many different ways and it's going to be butchered every time. I'm just going to call you Bella. I can't butcher your name every single time I try to say it all. So FRT Bella there in 8th place, as OVR's Thomas in 9th, and GT10's Acid completing the top 10 after the first lap times have come in, and majority of the drivers are back out there once again to get another lap time on the board. Finley is the man leading this train, so we're going to go on board with the CPI man. His teammate has put on the provisional pole time as it currently stands. He is the benchmark, and now it's on Finley to try and match his teammate as he comes through the final corner to get his lap underway here at Shanghai. Going through turn number 3, getting decent traction on the exit. There is Finley using a dab of the overtake there as he runs down into the first sector split. He is up on his first sector time, but you saw there just a little bit of a lockup, sent him into a little bit of a slide going through turn number 6. Now for the heart of the middle sector, through 7, in towards the right-hander at turn number 8. Need to make sure you're keeping to the right to throw into the left-hander at turn number 9, and then of course coming through turn number 10, all about the exit and the line that you take through there. And he is still up, is Finley, but a lock up there on the front left tyre might have just scored off a little bit of time for him as he comes through turns number 12 and 13 onto the back straight. He's using it to overtake. He's waiting for that DRS detection point, and there it is, DRS wide open on the rundown now into the hairpin at turn number 14. The CPI man currently P7 in the times, but can he improve up the order? That is the question, as he gets a little bit of a snap of oversteer on the exit of turn 14 through 15, and yet he's bailed into the pit lane. Not going to be an improved lap time there for CPI Finley, but maybe we'll get an improved lap time coming from one of the Haas's that is crossing the line right now. In fact, that is Nick heading back into the pits. Impact, the next man to come towards the line, throws it through the final corner. VMV's Impact to the line, improves up to P12 right there with his teammate. So a good improvement there from Impact. Brent's into the pits. Sapala is on a fast lap as Leo Lopez actually comes back into the pits as well. So no time on the board yet for him, as Bella there pushes on provisional pole. Lucas there goes even quicker. So Bella FRT had just a few moments of bliss, and then EVE's Luca able to displace him and go up into P1, as we're seeing Indian improve there as well onto a 29.8, and Acid up to P5 with a 29.903. Sapala there crosses the line, and he's done a 130.040, just a hundredth of a second ahead of CPI's Finley, who's coming back out of the pit lane right now, and we're going to see what he can do. Acid, good lap from him. Indian, a great lap from him. Bella and Lucas responding to the benchmark that was set down by Gakowski, who is on his next run right here, right now. Why am I showing the battery? I always show the battery. That is why. Oh yeah, Gakowski improving up in the first sector, about 35 thousandths of a second improvement for him coming through sector 1 as he comes through now the heart of the middle sector, through turns 7 and 8 in towards turn number 9, looking for a good exit out of turn number 10. Let's see what the middle sector split is going to say for Gakowski, and he is marginally up again in the middle sector as he tries to hook up the snail corner, coming through turns 12 and 13 now onto the back straight. The CPI man, foot to the floor, ERS is being deployed, and of course DRS is going to be activated all the way down to the braking of turn number 14. Breaking down third gear and just goes a little bit deep there, this Gakowski, but he does get the car rotated and he could still improve with a good run for the final corner, and that's a pretty decent run, Gakowski, and he does improve. He improves by 46 thousandths of a second, which puts him on a provisional pole for right now. It is still a 29.8, but it's a 29.812 right now for Gakowski. And just when Lucas and Bella thought that they were able to respond to the benchmark that was Gakowski's first lap, Gakowski responds and puts it back onto provisional pole. Bell out there on a track right now, and I think he's potentially on a cooldown lap. It doesn't look like... Oh, no, he's definitely he's deploying, so it looked like he was trying to harvest a bit of battery there, but he is using... And he is up in the first sector. So Bell currently P6 EVE, who of course had a podium finish last time out in Australia, going to be looking to do better here tonight, and they're hoping both of their drivers can be up there to score big points for the team as they come through turn number 9 and 10 now. Bell now to the middle sector split. Is there going to be an improvement here? And he's over a 10th up. This is threatening Gakowski's lap time right now. EVE Bell on a brilliant run through Shanghai as he comes onto the back straight, foot to the floor, waits for that DRS detection zone to pop up. There it is, DRS wide open. It's run down into the braking of turn number 14. Again, braking just before the 100-meter board, down to third gear, gets the car rotated. Harvey there with a big improvement. It's a 29.7 for FRT Harvey. And here comes Bell now through the final corner, keeps it all valid, and to the line will come Bell, and it's a 0.7, but it's not enough to get ahead of FRT Harvey. These lap times that are coming in right now, so incredibly close and incredibly quick as well, as Harvey right now is the man on provisional pole position. Finley's out there on a lap as well, as I believe actually he might be on a cooldown lap. Yes, he is on a cooldown lap. Quartz is coming through. I think he's just, he's invalidated on his run. Nick is on a out lap, or actually no, he might be on a cooldown lap. He might come back into the pit lane right now. Leo Lopez, though, the only man to not have a lap time on the board right now, and he is invalidated on his run, so not good for LR here tonight. Of course, one of the drivers not in the lobby, unfortunately for him. So, I mean, if he is going to be able to join for the race, he'll be starting from the back of the grid. And Leo Lopez from P19 needs to get a lap time on the board if he wants any hope of scoring some good points for LR here tonight. Of course, LR yet to get a point on the board as of yet, but we'll have to wait and see if there is going to be improvements. Quartz, I think, is going to be on his way into the pits. I think that's his session over and done with, actually, because I don't think he's got enough time. Gravroach just come out of the pit lane. Gakowski is out on track. Both NLR drivers are going to be looking to get themselves up the order as well. Currently, Gravroach only 29.9 as Harvey into the pit lane retires from the qualifying session. And with a 29.7, it's looking good for FRT Harvey to pick up a point for FRT here tonight in China. I'm going to go on board with Bella right now for FRT. We've done a lap with Gakowski. We've done a lap with Bella. And we know Bella is ahead of Gakowski on track. So we'll be able to go from Bella to Gakowski pretty quick to compare sector times as we get the final runs here in qualifying underway. As Bella now, DRS wide open, runs down in towards turn number 1, throws the car in 5th gear, drops it down into 4, keeping it very tight in towards turn number 2. Probably a little bit too tight, to be honest. Might have scrubbed off just a bit of time, but through turn 3, a little bit of a wiggle on the exit of turn 3, so not ideal as we go through the right hand kink of turn number 5 into the braking of turn number 6. But what do I know? He's over a 10th up already. So Bella out there finding time once again, and if Bella can maintain this pace, then of course Bella will be improving. As Gakowski's invalidated his lap, so Gakowski's not going to be improving on his lap time. That is it for the CPI man. The best he's going to be qualifying from is P3 here tonight, but Bella still up on his time as the advantage is still there for Bella as Bella comes through turn number 13 right now onto the back straight. He was 700 of a second up, and right now I think that is enough. If he can hold on to that time, that is enough to get him just ahead of Harvey here. So it could be an FRT 1-2 as we head down into the hairpin. And oh, Acid with a big improvement there for GT10 on provisional pole. GT10 Acid with a 29.709. Here comes Bella to the line. Bella goes to P2. That was the improvement that Bella was looking for. Gakowski though not going to be able to improve. Lucas out there on the lap right now. Indian coming through the final couple of corners as Indian next man to cross the line. And then of course we got one of the Neverlast Racing drivers, so we were Grafroach or Sapala to come across the line. As of next, Indian up in the P4. Who's up next? It's going to be Grafroach, the winner from round number 1 for Neverlast Racing. To the line he'll come, and it's P8 for Grafroach. And next up to the line will be, it's going to be Brent. Brent does improve. Nock is out there on a lap as Lucas here goes up in the P2. So Lucas there onto the front row. Nock to the line. Nock up to P11. Sipala just unable to get it in the end. An invalid lap time there for Neverlast Racing's Sipala as IRT Nick now the last man to come to the line and complete his lap here tonight through the final corner. Throws it in. Big moment as he hit that sausage curb through the final corner, and heartbreak for Nick as it's going to be P14 for the IRT driver. But my god, how close was that qualifying session? Let me run you through the order right here. Acid with a 29.7. Lucas here in second place also with a 29.7. FRT second row locker with Bella ahead of Harvey there in 4th place. Indian in 5th with Bell in 6th. Gakowski in 7th with Grafroach in 8th. Finley in 9th. And Quartz round out the top 10. Outside the top 10 we got Nock, Sapala, Thomas, Nick, Paulus, Brent, Impact, Brian and Leo Lopez, who was unable to get a lap time on the board in the end. But look at that, the top 10 separated by just over 0.2 of a second. The top 6 separated by less than 1/10 of a second, and the top 7 separated by just over 1/10 of a second. Oh my, that is incredibly close right here in qualifying. But it was Acid who does take that point for GT10. And of course, that point does help them close the gap a little bit on FRT. That's a quick reminder of the standings before we go to our short intermission as we get the lobby restarted and reset, ready for the race. Guys, we will be back in just a moment's time. And we have a brilliant race lined up just based on qualifying right there. It's going to be very close, guys. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Esports Masters League here for round number 3. Qualifying completed in the bag. It was GT10's Acid who took pole position with a 129.709, just 13 thousandths of a second ahead of EVE's Lucas, who will join him on the front row. And then in third place and fourth place, we have the FRT pairing of Bella and Harvey. They're completing the second row for FRT with Indian for VMV with a great qualifying position for him. He's going to be starting from P5 with EVE's Bell joining alongside him in P6. Kigakowski, he was the man who had the initial pace in qualifying, but that final lap, he just unfortunately invalidated on his run. And I think he might have invalidated as he was about to start his lap, maybe just drifting a little bit too far wide onto the exit of the final corner. And that gave him this next lap invalidation. But Gakowski will be starting from 7th place alongside the man who he fought for the race win in Bahrain at round number 1. Neverlast Racing's Grav Roach in P8. And then, of course, we have the second CPI driver of Finley in P9, with GT10's Quads rounding out the top 10. OVR's Knock in 11th, with Sapala in 12th, with OVR's Thomas in 13th. And then, of course, IRT Nick in 14th place. And then going through the rest of the field, it was Paulus in 15th and Brent in 16th for FGE, and then of course VMV's Impact in 17th place, IRT O'Brien in 18th, and Leo Lopez, who did not manage to get a lap time on the board, in 19th place. So he's got it all to do right now for LR. A quick reminder of the stand-ins going into tonight. Of course, GT10 would have gained an extra point from the pole position point, but is CPI that leads the way by 2 points to Neverlast Racing's esports team in 2nd place, and of course OVR in 3rd, EVE in 4th, FRT in 5th, GT10 in 6th, IRT Esports in 7th, with VMV in 8th, FGE in 9th, and of course LR rounding out the top 10, yet to get a point on the board. And we are going to be eagerly anticipating the 5 red lights to go out in just a moment's time. Hopefully the drivers remember their setups, and hopefully, I'm just going to say it again, hopefully everyone remembers their setups, because from personal experience, I have forgotten a setup around here at China, and it's never been enjoyable riding on a default setup. So if engineers are listening in, make sure that your drivers remember their setups, of course, as we wait for the go-ahead for the drivers to ready up to get the Chinese Grand Prix campaign underway for round number 3. A quick reminder of the drivers competing here tonight. There they are, Brent and Paul S.A. for FGE. No Maxi, unfortunately, for LR, but Leo Lopez is in the sole Mercedes for LR here tonight. Gakowski and Finney in for CPI. Acid and Quartz in for GT10. Bell and Lucas in for EVE. Thomas and Knock in for OVR. Indian and Impact in for VMV. FRT's Bella and Harvey are in for FRT. Sapala and Grafroach in for Neverlast Racing. And of course, Brian and Nick in for IRT. So with the drivers lined up on the grid, just making sure that they got their strategies sorted and moving in the right direction. They're going to be looking to try to figure out what strategy is going to work, as we're going to find out now as we head onto the track for those 5 red lights. Lights are out and we are underway here in Shanghai. 28 laps for all of these drivers out here, as it looks like a good start there from Indian, getting the jump on the FRT man of Harvey, but Harvey coming straight back at him. Indian going to settle in. Gakowski getting the move done on Bell early on, as you see in the background. Oh, that's Finley. Finley, a big moment in the background as he is falling all the way down, as Sepala and Knock are out of this race, and there's a safety car that is being deployed out on track here on lap 1, and I'm not sure if Knock and Sepala got caught up in Finley's moment there. But Finley, we saw it in the background, looking from behind the Gatkowski, his teammate. Finley losing his car, spearing off on the exit of turn number 3 on the traction zone, and that is not what you want. Is there any front wing damage on the CPI car? No, there is not. So it looks like Finley might have just got away without any front wing damage. Of course, the strategy, everyone opting for a set of the hard compound tyres, and that means it's going to be potentially a hard medium. I can't see the soft tyres being used by any of the drivers out there on track here tonight, but potentially what this could do is possibly open the door for a brave soul to come into the pits now to maybe go medium. Like, if I'm Finley and I got 2 fresh sets of mediums, I'm probably gambling with a medium strategy. You know, use the mediums, try to get back through the field, and then you're going to be on mediums when everyone else is later on into the race. So, I mean, maybe that could be an interesting strategy. If anyone does go for it, I'm not sure. I don't think anyone is. And, oh, actually, Brent and Finley have both come into the pit. So we're going to go on board with Brent to see if he is going to go for the medium strategy. And it looks like it's going to be setting the mediums there for Brent. And it's going to be the same for Finley. Sepala, unfortunately, out of this race. And he did have support here in the chat, as well as Fake Tato was, of course, out here supporting Sepala and Neverlast Racing. The same with Jaden Ward out here supporting NLR. But this is not good for their prospects of trying to retake the championship lead here tonight. In fact, if anything, it puts them under a bit of pressure with the likes of EV and FRT doing pretty well so far in this race. I mean, OVR, I mean, you see Knock is out of this race and Thomas is in P10. So Nevertheless Racing are probably, they got an eye on OVR, but they're not the big threat right now. The big threat is EVE, with Lucas in 2nd place and Bell right there in 6th place. So that's big points for them. And of course FRT gaining big right now with a 3rd and 4th place, as Indian and Belva there momentarily trading positions. So safety car is still going to be out on track for at least another lap, I would imagine, as Brent and Finley have caught up to the back of the pack. Yeah, the safety car is going to be out for at least another lap here. So Acid going to be controlling the pace on the restart when the safety car does elect to come into the pit lane, which won't be for another lap. Of course, big opportunity now for CPI in this race. Obviously Finley's down there in 17th, he's at the back of the field, but Finley and Brent will have the better pace on those medium tyres early on, and they're going to be able to make some positions up, and they're going to be able to make this work, I would imagine, and carve their way through the field. I think Finley and Brent can maybe get themselves into the top 10, because I do expect with the medium runners going to be looking for overtakes, we're going to start to get a few gaps forming in the park, and of course gaps around here can be crucial for your race. If you fall out of DRS range, you are in for a long night. But if you can break DRS on the cars behind, you can somewhat breathe a little sigh of relief, because they have to use a lot of battery to close themselves back up to you, and you can just then take advantage of the battery that they've used and try to pull away. It's going to be interesting though to see how these medium tyres get on with Brent and Finley. Of course, safety car is going to come in at the end of this lap, so they need to get their medium tyres up to temperature pretty sharpish, and they're going to hope they can get the jump on Brian and Leo Lopez as quickly as possible. Lopez up into P14 from 19th on the grid, so a good opening lap from him. But when you think about it, with the two drivers that came into the pits, gained on Brian, and of course knocking Sapala out of this race. But Acid now controls the pace as the safety car is in this lap. Acid is the virtual Burt Mulder as he is weaving to get some heat into those tyres, and he's got to time this restart to perfection. He needs to catch Lucas napping. Lucas needs to be on high alert here on the restart, because he could fall victim to Bella down in towards turn number 1 if he's not careful. Bella just backing off slightly from Lucas, which might be good for Bella, because there we go. It's Acid has got ourselves back underway, and you can see there Bella just getting a little bit too deep for the final corner, so not going to be close enough to make a move. Indian not too far off the back, but Indian not going to be able to make a move. Impact though, and Leo Lopez there battling it out on the run down in towards turn number 1 as we're on board with Brian now. Seeing Leo Lopez have a little peek down the inside in towards turn number 2. Not going to happen for him though, as he has to settle in behind the VMV man for the time being. But now back up towards the battle in the top end of the midfield as Gatkowski down the inside of Bell. A little bit of wheel banging between the pair of them as the EVE driver is able to get the run that he needs out of turn 6. Job done for Bell in holding on to that position, but he is now 6/10 off the back of Indian and needs to close that back up to try and get close enough to him that Gatkowski is not going to be able to really put huge pressure on him, as it looks like Nick a little bit ghosting going on here down towards the back of the pack, as Nick and Polas has ghosted through each other, and there we go. Now they've separated and they are now solid once again, as it looks like both of the medium runners of Brent and Finley get through up in the 14th and 15th. They get past Brian, they get past Leo Lopez. Here comes Finley down the inside, tries to outbrake. He knows he can't outbrake as much as he wants to because of Nick being at the apex of the corner. So Finley there smartly gets the move done on Brent and is now the lead medium runner in this race, but runs a little bit wide, and that's definitely going to be a potential warning picked up there as Thomas there down the inside. But Graf Roach, lovely little switchback there through turn 2. He's at the outside now for turn number 3, and on the traction as Thomas got it. Thomas looks like he might just have the edge on the traction, but Graf Roach is not giving this up without a fight, and I think now he's decided to settle down. He did try to deploy to get himself up to where he needs to. Lap 5 of 28, Acid leads the way ahead of Lucas in second place. DRS is of course activated now on this lap, so Lucas potentially could go for the race lead down in towards the hairpin, but Bella right there gets a fantastic run through 11 and 12 and is tucked up right underneath the Aston Martin's wing. So we could be seeing Bella potentially go for a double overtake here as we run down in towards turn number 14. DRS wide open. Here comes Bella and Lucas on Acid. Acid got the gap that he needs, and Bella thinks better of going for the move on Lucas. But Gatkowski and Bella on Indian battling out for P5. You got Quartz in behind, and Quartz is just happy to watch this unfold and try to pick up the pieces where he can. Gatkowski trying to get a move on to get as much points as possible for CPI as he looks to try and rectify the major issue he had in qualifying with that invalidated lap on his final run, because Gatkowski definitely has the pace to be up there at the front, and he's trying to show that by trying to get through on the likes of Bell and Indian right now. But as it currently stands, he has to sit in behind for the time being. as Lucas and Bella side by side on the exit at turn number 6 as they come through the left-hander of turn number 7, and it's going to be Lucas that holds on to that position. And what this is going to do, it's going to allow Acid just a little bit of breathing space, because Acid, he could potentially still hold on to the race lead down in towards the hairpin, even though Lucas and Bella will have DRS again. Coming through now, turn number 13, as Acid leads the way ahead of Lucas in second place, and now we got Bella using a bit of ERS, opening up the DRS, using a bit more ERS to draw alongside the Aston Martin. He's going to try to outbrake him down the inside. Big lock up at the front as he tries to avoid going careering into Acid, and that has compromised his exit because Lucas managed to come straight back past him and hold on to that P2. So what looked like could have been a move there for Bella and FRT turned into a bit of an avoiding action there for Bella to slam on the brakes, lock up both of the front tyres to make sure he doesn't go careering into Acid and potentially putting Acid out of the race. But you see Bella there getting very close to the back of Indian, just touching the rear wing of the Williams car in front of him. Of course, VMV Indian doing a fantastic job for his team, as there he goes down the inside is Bell into turn number 6 on the exit. They're side by side as we head in towards turn number 7. It'll be Indian on the inside and he will have that superior line, but Bell tries to look for a bit of a switchback and tries to carry a bit more speed through the corners, but Bell unable to get the move done as Indian's able to hold off. Meanwhile, keeping an eye on the medium runners as well, as Finley is now up in the P12 all over the back of Impact here, and Finley looking to use these medium tyres to try and get himself up the order as best as possible. Lap 7 of 28, as it looks like Gakowski is starting to apply a bit more pressure to Bell here. We're going to go up towards the front to see if Lucas and Bella are going to be able to have a little battle. No, they won't, but Indian and Bell are going to have a bit of a battle. Indian holds on to P5 once again, so Bell, they're running wide. Definitely would have been a warning picked up there for the EVE man, but that's opened the door now for Kate Gakowski for CPI, as he's going to try to outbreak and try to hold it all the way around the outside, as here goes Gakowski, and he's just unable to get far enough alongside, but that's opened the door for Quartz to get alongside of him, and he's then down the inside for turn 2, but around the outside of turn 3, and tries to look for the better exit, gets the better traction, and look at this, as he hits the back of Gakowski on the run down in towards turn number 6. Quartz here, that dab of ERS just gave him a little bit too much speed, too much closing speed on Gakowski as he hits the back of the CPI man, but you can see Quartz now looking to try to get his way through, and Finley is now almost in this battle. He's up to P9, so a fantastic job there from CPI Finley to get himself in this position on those medium tyres, as he tries ever so smartly to try and place his car to protect his teammate, but also to try and cause some issues so he can get the move done himself. Back up to the front though, Lucas is close to the back of Acid, and with DRS it's going to be a simple overtake for the EVE man. Up into the race lead goes EVE Lucas for the first time in this race, as we're about to begin lap number 9 of 28. Gravroach and Thomas there battling out for P10 as the Neverlast Racing driver gets the job done on the OVR driver. Of course, both of their teammates out of this race. Sapala and Nock both DNF'd on the opening lap, and it did trigger the safety car being deployed, which allowed Finley and Brent to make a lovely little pit stop, chucking a set in the medium component tyres. And this strategy, I think, has gone from what was a relative hard medium one stop to now a medium stop for Finley and Impact. But you see Indian and Harvey again side by side, and now with Bell they're just looking on, seeing if he's going to be able to pick up the pieces. They're still side by side coming through turn number 8 as Bellwell gets a little bit too much on the inside curve. You saw the car twitch on that inside curve. He needs to try and avoid that, because at some point it could catch him out. As Gatkowski, I think, has potentially had a moment there, or a little bit of contact with Quartz, as he's dropped now behind both Quartz and Finley in this race. He was ghosted, so it indicates something did happen with Gatkowski. Whether it was him potentially losing the car by himself, or whether a little bit of contact was made, remains to be seen. Of course, we probably will find out later after the race, as Indian and Bellwell do battle once again, but this time Bellwell comes out on top on the exit at turn number 14 and 15 this time, heading down in towards turn number 1. You're seeing Bella putting the pressure on now. A lovely little switchback on the inside for turn number 2, as Bella down the inside for FRT. He's going to have the outside line now through turn number 3. Tries to look for the better traction, for the better exit, and we saw Quartz do this earlier, where he got underneath the rear wing of Gatkowski, but that little dab of ERS that Quartz had literally closed our closing speed massively, and he did not expect it, so he did tap the back of the CPI man, as now Finley is trying to get on the back of Gravroach here for P9, and he's going to try to help his teammate out as best as possible. Back up towards the front though, we got Bella on the back of Lucas. Lucas will have DRS and will close onto the back of the Scuderia Ferrari of the GT10 driver Acid, who is currently leading the race. If we run down in towards turn number 14, and it doesn't look like Lucas is going to go for the move, but Bella is down the inside. Job done. Blocked off on the exit was Lucas, and that's going to allow Harvey now side by side into the final corner. Harvey on the inside line, and he does yield that position, as Bellwell and Indian there, both of them going off track. That's allowed Quartz through, and Quartz is now up in the P5, so GT10 now in a P1 P5 situation, as a squabbling between Indian and Bellwell has allowed Quartz through. But look at this on Bellwell, he sneaks it up the inside through turn 2, but the inside for turn 3 allows Quartz to get that tighter line and potentially get that position back, but Bellwell's not giving up a fight. He's going to try and outbreak the Ferrari. Tries to hold it around the outside of turn number 6, as Bellwell tries to get the move back on Quartz here, who is trying to give him some space, giving him a little bit of a squeeze as well though. It's hard fighting between the pair of them as they were side by side through turn 7, but it is Bellwell who has a P5 as we go through turns 9 and 10. So Bellwell for EVE, not wanting to give this up without a fight, but the battling that Quartz and Bellwell have done has meant that they are around about 8 tenths of the second off the back of Harvey, but that has now closed down to around about 6 tenths of a second, as Bellwell tries to maintain his position in this train, in the DRS train, and he's going to try to maintain I'm going to say a healthy, oh my god, as Harvey and Impact, I gotta have to look at that back. Was that rear lockup, or was that just, I honestly just could not believe what I just saw there, and guys, I was speechless. Was that just rear lockup? I mean, Lucas is down the order. Everything's getting a little bit argy-bargy now on lap 12 of 28, and I am not sure what's going on there, as Bellwell's down the order, Lucas has dropped down the order, Indian's down the order as well, and is absolutely kicked off here, as Finley is up in the P8 now, Gatkowski up in the P5, Gravroach up in the P6, Thomas or OVR now up in the P4, and there's a GT10 1-3 right now. It's a double podium for GT10, but look at that, Quartz is now near enough 3 seconds off the back of Bella and Acid here. So right now for these two, it's a bit of a two-horse race between Bella and Acid. As long as they work together in terms of just not making life difficult for each other, they're going to be able to continue to pull away. Here comes OVR Thomas now on the back of Quartz, as Quartz is going to open DRS and he's going to get through. Bella's also going to get through on Acid as well at the same time. Here goes Gatkowski down the inside for CPI on Quartz. Job done for Gatkowski, but Quartz is going to try to hold it, but he's got Gravroach here on his inside, so he couldn't get the lovely little switchback that he was probably looking for on the exit. As a big lock-up, and I think Finley getting side by side with Gravroach. Gravroach, they're going off track, and I wonder, because I did hear the audible of a little bit of contact there. I'm wondering if Finley may have gone into the back of Gravroach, but that's allowed Powers there to try and hang it around the outside of turn number 3. But yeah, not going to be able to do that is Powers, and yeah, he's going to have to settle for P7, but Finley right now. Oh, front wing has gone for CPI Finley. As you just saw that front left end plate there jump off the CPI car, and that's going to allow Lucas to go straight down the inside, and he's going to get that move done. EVE Lucas now on a bit of a recovery drive. Impact there around the outside as well. Impact for VMV trying to get himself back into this race. Harvey also needs to get himself back into this race. Same with Indian. And oh my god, it is getting very hectic now in the midfield, as everyone is getting their elbows out, and it's getting a little bit argy-bargy. But look at this right now with the IRT drivers as they go side by side. Nick and Brian side by side there. IRT they're doing what they do best, having a nice good clean battle with each other. But it is wing damage on Nick's car, as you see looking back from Brian, and that's going to open the door to allow Brent down the inside on the set of the medium compound tyres, as Brian they're getting completely out of shape, as Quartz and Gatkowski into the pit lane at the end of lap 13. As we begin lap 14 with the leaders, we've got our first pit stop as of the race coming in right now. So interesting to see what the undercut is going to be like for Gatkowski and for Quartz. Bell also going to go for the undercut to try and get himself back into this race. Leo Lopez in a bit of no man's land right now for LR. It's not fantastic if you're LR right now. Obviously down the driver, one of course not turning up here tonight, and of course Leo Lopez invalidating all of his runs in qualifying, starting from the back, as Finley with that front wing damage trying to battle, as it looks like Lucas is also missing a bit of end plate as well. So front left end plate missing on Finley's car, front right end plate missing on Lucas's car. So both of them are going to need to get their front wings repaired when they come into the pit lane. But that's going to allow Brian down the inside as they get a little bit too close to comfort. IRT Brian and CPI Finley as they locked onto each other as they went through turn number 11. But Brian able to have the better downforce, going to go around the outside, get that job done. Up at the front though, Indian getting through on Powerless as Gravroach gets through on Thomas. And what we got right now is Gravroach for Neverlast Racing currently in a very strong position. Acid into the pit stop for GT10. Remember, his teammate Quartz just came into the pits not too long ago. We're going to keep an eye on the likes of Gatkowski, on the likes of Quartz, as they are going to try to make this undercut work. Acid is on his way out of the pit lane right now. Where's Gatkowski? Gatkowski through the final corner, running down in towards turn number 1. He's going to have the overspeed, but he's not going to have the position, as Acid is going to be ahead. But Gatkowski has got that gap now to a second, and Gatkowski with the medium tyres on his car a little bit more switched on, he's going to be able to get within that 1 second window, and that could absolutely change the race for the CPI man here tonight. As it looks like Lucas with that wing damage, it's not looking good for Lucas right now. He's definitely hindered with that wing damage. Finley came into the pits. Did he get that front wing repaired though? That is the question as we come through. No, he didn't. and he's missing both end plates. Finley, no end plates on his car, and that is going to compromise him massively, as we see OVR Thomas getting the move done on Grav Roach. Up in the P2 goes the OVR man, as the VMV pairing switch positions. Impact up in the 4th, and Indian down into 5th. Brian able to hold on to that position ahead of Lucas. Lucas, of course, compromise, as we have a spinner. That's Bella. Bella's out of this race from the race lead. FRT Bella dropping it through the final corner. Out of this race, safety car deployed. Lap 15 of 28. Ladies and gentlemen, FRT Bella dropping it out of the final corner. Wow. And with the safety car being deployed, Gatkowski probably would have been hoping that this wouldn't have happened, because while he has just managed to nip ahead of Grav Roach there, he is now behind Thomas in this race. But I mean, Gatkowski probably would have wanted no safety car, because he would have free reign to attack Acid for the race win. But right now, it has been completely turned upon its head once again. Finley, though, will be able to get that front wing repaired, and I think he's going to be very happy about that. Wow. Leo Lopez, though, stays out on 15 lap old hard compound tyres. Now, if I'm Leo Lopez, I'm coming back into the pits and I'm changing tyres. I do not want to be on very old hards versus the rest of the field on fresh mediums. Like, you want to give yourself the best opportunity possible in this race to score some good points. Remember, the top 15 all get points here tonight, and of course there are 16 runners still remaining. So if we do end as Brent has unfortunately disconnected from the session, let me see if I can get Brent an invite back in real quick. I should have Brent as a friend, so I'm gonna get Brent back in while we are under safety car conditions. Don't worry, Brent, I have you covered, my friend. Right. I'm sending him an extra invite as well to make sure it is all good. Hopefully Brent will be able to get in and take control of his car while we're still under safety car conditions. Ladies and gentlemen, under safety car conditions here in Shanghai in China, the race leader Bella for FRT dropping it in the final corner, causing the safety car completely has turned this race back on its head again. It has been a reprieve for some drivers who had an incident early on. Of course, we saw EVE's Lucas fall down the order. We saw CPI Finley fall down the order. Quats fall down the order. Harvey fall down the order with the incidents that happened to him early on. Bell, what a reprieve this has been for his potential race here, because he went all the way down towards the back of the field, and now he's up in P6. So it's a good thing the safety car came out for Bell. But Acid for GT10 leads the way. OVR Thomas in second place, and crucially Gatkowski ahead of Grav Roach in this race. Finley is in the final points paying position, so Finley could definitely get himself a few extra points. He's on 14 lap old medium compound tyres though, is CPI Finley, and I don't know if he knows that. But for Neverlast Racing versus CPI in the championship, 2 points separated them coming in tonight. CPI on 50 points, Neverlast Racing on 48 points. Remember, we're still in the safety car conditions, but we're going to have a little peek at the standings. Safety car is coming in this lap, so don't worry guys, I will get us back to the action in just a moment. But there we go, CPI leading the way, 50 points, 48 for LNLR, OVR 39, 36 for Evisio, FRT on 26, 23 for GT10, IRT, VMV, False Group, and then of course Legacy Racing. But safety car is being deployed. Safety car is now being called in after being deployed. Bloody hell, I thought I said, I did just say being deployed. It's not being deployed, it's being called back in. And now Acid, the virtual Burt Mulder, is going to be the man to get us underway once again. And we are going to get this sorted as apparently, as Finley also lagged it out, does he? I did not see Finley lag out, but we'll try to get him back in. We'll try to get him back in as soon as possible. Yeah, he has lagged out, hasn't he? Right, has Finley got me added as a friend? That is the question. Okay, Finley does not have me as a friend. Okay, if we get Finley to add me as a friend real quick, either bring Mike and that, then he should be able to get back in. But back to racing once again, as Acid is leading the way. OVR Thomas in second place, Gatkowski there in third place, Gravroach currently in fourth, Impact in fifth, Bell in sixth, looking to try and get onto the back of Impact here. VMV and EVE have had a decent few battles here so far tonight, and hoping to have a few more, as policy in P7. Good lofty heights for him. Indian trying to recover his race from early on. Brent there trying to get onto the back of Nick and Brian, the two IRT drivers, both inside the top 10 right now. Lucas trying to recover his race. Here comes Quazzo on the back of Lucas as they run down in towards turn number 14, sorry, as Quads outbreaks Lucas down the inside, and his job done right there for Lucas. As Harvey, they're running wide on the exit, and Leo Lopez side by side with him gets the fastest lap of the race, does Leo Lopez. Troya, what's it called? Have you let Finny know to add me on PlayStation so I can re-invite him into the race? As Quartz and Brent side by side on the exit of turn number 4 into turn 5, now breaking into turn number 6. Quartz on the inside gets the tighter line. Job done for Quartz. Up in the P11 goes the GT10 man. Back up towards the front though. Acid still holding on to the race lead ahead of Thomas in second place. Gakowski there in third. Gravroche in fourth. I just want to quickly check. Okay, right there. I haven't got a friend request come through yet from Finley. Coming down now in towards turn number 14. Thomas gets the job done on Acid. But look at Gravroach, Neverlast Racing, trying to go around the outside here. Gets it done in the break-in, but in fact he's gone a little bit too deep. That's allowed Gatkowski to come straight back at him, as they're going to be wheel to wheel now in towards the final corner. Neverlast Racing, the CPI, the championship protagonists of this season so far, as they do battle in this Gravroach that gets the job done on Gatkowski here. And Gravroach up in the P3. He's going to look to try to get onto the back of this battle now for the race lead. Gatkowski though, in P4, is going to try to get that move back on Gravroach. This is important right now. It's definitely important right now, because obviously we're Finley unfortunately disconnected as Impact tries it around the outside under break-ins. There's still wheel to wheel on the exit. Impact for VMV down the inside through turn number 7. There you go. And now in towards turn number 8 as Gatkowski got wing damage. Gatkowski's got contact when they come together, and they're both in the wall. Impact and Gatkowski in the wall. I was just about to say with Gatkowski, I think I saw wing damage. I mean, he's definitely got wing damage now, as Gatkowski in the wall and down towards the back of the field. Heartbreak for CPI in this race. As up at the front, Acid overtakes Thomas. Gravroach is overtaken as well. as Thomas goes from first down to third, as Bell, Indian and Powers battling out for P4 in this race. Bell just trying to make sure that he doesn't lose any time, doesn't pick up any needless time penalties. He knows he's going to get Indian on penalties, so that is crucial for him, as it looks like everything now beginning to settle down just a little bit, as Lucas, Leo Lopez, Brent, as that's Impact there. Is Impact just getting out the way of the cars? Yeah, I think he's getting out of the way. I think Impact is just getting out the way of the cars, but Gakowski putting on a set of the soft compound tyres, and that's going to allow him to really go for the fastest lap of the race, and he definitely will get. I mean, we saw in qualifying Gakowski's pace. After the first round of qualifying laps, he sat on provisional pole. The second round, he sat on provisional pole, and when it came to the final run, he just unfortunately invalidated before starting his lap. So we never got to see the true pace of Gakowski right at the end of the session. But what we have is Gakowski now going to be on maximum attack to get himself that fastest lap point, that is for sure. As here goes Gravroach on acid for the race lead. Indian also getting through on Polas, as Bell closes in as well. Is he going to send it down the inside? He's going to try. Oh, contact as Polas hits the back of Indian, and that's given Bell P4 in this race. Quartz is going to come through as well. They're ghosting through each other, it's Quartz and Indian, but I think Polas might have to just get that position back to Indian, in my opinion. A little bit of a bump pass. Oh, Quartz there. This is looking very reminiscent of 2016 Danny Kvyat, torpedo-esque right there. Quartz on the inside, but able to make it work with no one getting spun around. So he did better than Kvyat right there, but he is now under pressure from Brian, and it is not good, as Gakowski again. I mean, Gakowski somehow, Gakowski I think I saw wing damage on Gakowski's car. He got caught up, tangled alongside with Impact, and both of them just got dragged into the wall with the contact model. But yeah, I'm not sure what happened, and of course Finley unfortunately disconnected from the session. I'm unable to invite him unless he adds me as a friend, and he has not done so as of yet, so I'm unable to invite him back into the lobby. But right now, I mean, his AI is trundling around in 14th place, and Gakowski potentially will be able to jump Impact on that penalty. So it's one of them ones. It really is. It's a heartbreaking day for CPI. Gravroach right now up in P2 for Neverlast Racing, and you could be saying right now in prime position to take a race win here tonight. Acid though will be doing everything he can to try and make sure that GT10 is on the top step of that podium. OVR Thomas, we saw OVR get a podium last time out in Australia. He wants to get a race win for OVR here tonight. Bell just off the back of this train. If he can get himself in this train, tow along the likes of Indian Paris and Quartz and Brian, actually, this could be very interesting. There's Brian had the overspeed through turn number 7 to have a look down the inside in turn 8. Thinks better of it, and Brian for IRT just going to settle back into P8 for the time being. Harvey right there in P9 looking to try and get himself into this battle, along with EVE Lucas here in P10. No penalties for Lucas, that is important. He looks like he might be able to jump up ahead of the likes of Indian and Harvey in this race. But back towards the front, here goes Gravroach on acid. DRS as simple as you like. Here goes Thomas, and is Thomas going to look for a move on Gravroach? No, he's not. He's going to sit in behind the Neverlast Racing driver, and now you got tactical game of DRS Chicken. But look who is just floating outside that 1 second and has Oh, momentarily I thought he did pick up DRS, but he hasn't quite picked it up this time around. Bell just floating outside that 1 second window. So if Bell can get inside this DRS train, that's going to be huge, not only for himself but also for the likes of Indian and Powers and Quartz. As Quartz actually looks like he's going to make a move, because Powers has made a mistake. He's lost the back end from what it looks like on the exit of turn 4. Easily done, and he drops down to P9. Lucas now up into P8 as he's overtaken not only Powers now but also Harvey. So Lucas trying to get himself back into a great position for EVE here tonight. Of course, 3 drivers out of the race so far tonight. Sipala for Neverlast Racing and OVR's Knock, who of course crashed out on the opening lap. I'm not sure what happened, but we did see Finley lose the back end. I'm wondering if they got caught up in that incident and potentially crashed out trying to take avoiding action or something like that. But Bell, did he manage to get DRS? Yes, he did. It's his 3 wide up ahead as Acid down the inside. Thomas holds on to P2. Gravroach goes from the race lead down to P3. And this is where these 3 are obviously tactically trying to make sure that they have DRS in the best position possible. It's bringing Bell, it's bringing Indian, it's bringing Quartz into the equation. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in for a thrilling end to this race as Bell there absolutely gets one on the inside of Gravroach, but Gravroach is having absolutely none of it, squeezing him out on the exit of turn 3, saying nah mate, nah, this is our battle by here. And Gravroach trying to do his best to make sure that he's in the prime position right now, because that long DRS straight all the way down into turn 14, normally in the DRS straight the man in second is at the most advantage, as Indian side by side with Bell coming through the middle sector, and contact between the pair as Bell there loses out and drops behind Lucas. So Lucas again up in the pre-side. Bell now dropping down to P9 and gets himself underway once again. What I was going to say, usually the guy in second with the DRS has the advantage, but I think with this long straight down in towards turn 14, I think the guy in third is the man with the big advantage, and that man right now is Gravroach with a DRS wide open, and he is closing in massively, but he is boxed in now between Thomas and Acid, and now the games begin between these 3. Indian is now in the mix. Quartz for GT10 up into the top 5 now. EVE's Lucas and Bell, they're recovering what they can, and obviously with Indian with that penalty, he's going to drop down the order. The question is, how far down the order does he drop? Paulas there in 10th place. We're going to see what happens there, but Quartz and Indian side by side as Gravroach has a horrible exit out of turn 4, and that's allowed Indian to draw alongside the Neverlast Racing guy as he's down the inside. Oh, contact there as Indians hit the back of Thomas. And that's allowed Quartz through up in the P4. He was battling side by side with Gravroach as Thomas got completely unsettled with the contact from Indian. Indian potentially might have just got away with that though without any wing damage, but yeah, too hot on the brakes was Indian right there and paid the price, and yeah, losing out of position, not ideal for Indian, but he is going to lose positions regardless with the time penalty that he does have. But what that's done is given Acid just a little bit of breathing space. He's going to be safe for this lap, I would imagine, as Thomas is going to be too far back to go for a lunge. Yes, he is, but Gravroach is going to go for the lunge. Down the inside goes Gravroach for Neverlast Racing as he tries to get himself into P2, but unable to do so. You saw him squeeze out Quartz on the exit as well. Quartz trying to get the traction that he needs to make it a double GT10 podium here. We're on the penultimate lap of the race. Is it going to go the way of Acid? Is it going to go the way of Thomas? Is it going to go in the way of Gravroach? or is it going to go the way of Quats here tonight? As we have what's happened to us. You haven't just said Brian's had a half spin. You had to say Spinella, didn't you? But ladies and gentlemen, penultimate lap of the race. Acid leads the way. He has half a second to Thomas. This lap, though, is all going to be about putting yourself in the best position for the next lap. That is what it's all going to be about. Thomas wants to get close to the back of Acid, but he probably does not want to overtake him. Not here, not right now. What he'll want is to make sure the Graf Roach does not overtake him. And Quads in behind, just going to wait for his opportunity. Lucas closing on the back of Indian, but he's not close enough for a move. Meanwhile, Brian and Brent do trade positions, but we're going to stay on board with this battle. Up at the front between Acid, Thomas and Graf Roach for the final lap of the race as we begin. Lap 28 of 28. Here comes OVR Thomas. And a little peek down the inside, but he's not going to go for it. He's going to think so much better than that as Graf Roach tries to carry the speed to hold it, going all the way around the outside, but he can't get it done. But that's allowed Quartz to take a tighter line through turns 1 and 2 to get alongside for turn 3, but again, unable to get it done. Indian right there in P5, but of course he has a penalty to his name, and he's under pressure right now from Lucas in behind, and Lucas actually getting the job done on the traction on the exit. So Lucas now up in the P5 and potentially could get himself onto a podium position here if he's lucky. Acid building up a bit of a gap. Graf Roach has lost a bit of time to Thomas, and potentially, has he got wing damage? Okay, he doesn't visually have wing damage. Looked like he was suffering from a bit of understeer there through the corners, and that's Quartz dropping outside of a second right here, and that's not ideal for Quartz. But oh, big rear end snap there for Thomas. That's going to allow Acid just to get away a little bit, but now it is all about DRS, ERS. Who's got the battery? Who's got the straight line speed? And who's got it under braking as Thomas switches to the inside line. He's going to have the inside line, but a little switch back there from Acid. He's going to, he just can't get the traction. The wheel spin there for Acid. They're costing potentially as Acid goes off track, but it's going to be Thomas or OVR taking the win ahead of GT10's. Acid in second place, Graf Roach there in third, Quartz in fourth, Lucas in fifth with Bell in sixth, Powers in seventh, Brian for IRT in eighth, Brent in ninth, and Indian rounding up the top 10. Leo Lopez in 11th, FRT Harvey in 12th, IRT Nick in 13th, 14th is going the way of Impact, and then of course 15th place we have Gatkowski, and of course CPI Finley unable to get himself back into the lobby. He's outside the points unfortunately for him as well, but Gatkowski to the line. Is it going to be the extra point for fastest lap here for CPI? I think it will be. As we come to the line, Gatkowski with the fastest lap, so 2 points right there for CPI gained with Gatkowski's fastest lap. As Thomas gets the in-game vote for driver of the day. And honestly, considering where he started, he's done very well to get the race win. And he was in the right place at the right time on the final lap. But what could have been for CPI here tonight without the connection issue for Finley, and of course the incident between Impact and Gatkowski? What could have been for NLR? Obviously, with what happened to CPI, could NLR have gained more points if what happened to Sepala didn't happen at the start of the race? Time will tell, but hopefully we will be able to go to the I do hope we're going to be able to go to the final classifications. If not, I'll have to bring it up on stream. And yeah, I think I have to bring it up on stream because it looks like the timer is going to count down once again. Brilliant that keeps happening. But ladies and gentlemen, I'll run you through the order one more time. I have brought it up on stream right here, right now. So our race winner is OVR Thomas. Second place is GT10 Acid. Third place completing the podium is Neverlast Racing's Grav Roach. Then, of course, in fourth place we have GT10's Quads. Then the EVE appearing of Lucas and Bell in fifth and sixth. And then, of course, FGE's driver in Polas there in P7. IRT's Brian in 8th. And FGE getting a double top 10 result with Brent in 9th. And then VMV Indian rounding out the top 10. The first points on the board for LR as Leo Lopez comes through in 11th place with FRT Harvey in 12th. 13th place goes the way of IRT Nick. And then in 14th, we have VMV Impact. 15th is CPI's Kigakowski. And then 16th is CPI Finley. And then, of course, our three non-finishers here tonight were, of course, FRT Bella, OVR Knock, and Neverlast Racing's Sipala. I'm just quickly going to make sure I screenshot the final classifications right there. For the stewards in case they do need it. But guys, what a race that was, and that definitely is going to shake things up in the standings. Of course, CPI came in tonight as narrow leaders. They've definitely lost that lead now. Neverlast Racing is definitely going to be ahead of them, and I believe OVR also would have jumped them. Same with potentially EVE as well. GT10, a strong result for them, a P2, P4 finish. We'll see them close the gap down massively as well. I don't think they've done quite enough to get ahead of CPI, but I think they've done enough to close the gap to put CPI under pressure, which is good for them. Of course, quick reminder of the calendar. After round number 3 in the bag, next week we head to the home of British motorsport. It is the British Grand Prix. We head to Silverstone, and we are going to be hopefully seeing an absolutely fantastic race around the British circuit. And potentially, it is Britain. We could be seeing some rain. You never know. It could happen. But yeah, next week we will be at Silverstone. The week after, round number 5, we'll head to Monte Carlo for the Monaco Grand Prix. Then to the Hungarian for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Over to Canada for the Circuit Jules Villeneuve for the Canadian Grand Prix. And then to the Las Vegas Strip for Las Vegas. Singapore for round number 9. Mexico round number 10. The Circuit of the Americas round number 11. Of course, the season finale at Yas Marina in Abu Dhabi. Massive thank you again to our sponsors at Ronin Printwork, and a massive congratulations to OVR Thomas on the race win, and GT10's Acid and Grav Roach on the podium. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Console 1 here in the Esports Masters League. I have been Michael Edwards, and we'll catch you next week for the British Grand Prix. Until then, guys, is goodbye from me. Goodbye.